Hi everybody, welcome back and Happy New Year. It has been a few weeks since we've done a news update, but we're back at it. Some big updates have happened over the last couple weeks. So this is your update for the week of January 12th. We're going to talk about construction updates, some new discounts that have come out that are a really good deal, and even some AI talk. So let's get into it. So obviously we know there's some ongoing construction happening at the Magic Kingdom. We're not going to dig into the stuff that we already know is closed for refurbishment and redos. We're going to talk about some new ones here. So the first one is the Pete Silly Sideshow. So this is in the Storybook Circus area. Obviously this is where they are typically doing character meet and greets. So the years in Florida have obviously taken a toll on this tent, so it looks a little bit grayed out, a little bit weathered, so they are replacing the tent. The good news is that in the meantime, they are doing the character meet and greets out in front of that area, so you still do get your character interaction over in Storybook Circus. The other one, of course, is our Cinderella Castle update. So this one I'm really excited about. We're going back to our classic Cinderella Castle colors, so that gray and blue that you would know from growing up with the parks. Obviously, they did a few different color overlays over the years, and they ended up with more of a Disneyland kind of pink theme for the 50th anniversary, but we are going back to that classic style. The big thing to keep in mind here is that the infamous construction crane is going to be hovering over Cinderella's castle while this is taking place. Now, they do say that they're going to try and lower it by noon each day so that you can try and get some of those shots without the crane in your view. But keep that in mind if you're going to the parks over the next little while, that construction crane is likely going to be there, and to keep that in mind with your family photos. Heading over to Epcot, just a reminder that Frozen Ever After will be closing on January 26th. Now again, this is a short closing, but they are swapping out the animatronics in that ride. So we will no longer have the projector faces, but we're going to have full animatronic faces like they have in Hong Kong, which is super exciting news. I cannot wait to see this redo. So the turnaround time here they have is pretty quick. So it's not a long downtime, but still keep that in mind if you're heading to the parks around the end of January. In Hollywood studio news, we are making more progress on that Muppet overtake of the Rock and Roller Coaster. So it is still open, it is still functioning, the pre-show is down, and now there are construction walls around the outside as well, as they're starting to work on the facade of the building. So you can still enjoy the Rock and Roller Coaster until the spring. They're trying to keep it open as long as possible, but a little bit more, they're working on this every day, so we're getting closer and closer to that opening time. Another reminder is the last day for Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom is going to be February 2nd. So last chance to ride this before it shuts down for that conversion over into our Indiana Jones attraction. For people staying on resort, this is going to be a really important one. This is a shutdown date for the Skyliner. So this is going to close from January 25th through the 31st for refurbishments. And I know this is a huge perk for a lot of those Skyliner resorts, being able to access other resorts, go to Hollywood Studios, go to Epcot in this way. So keep that in mind, even if you're just park hopping and not staying at the resorts, the Skyliner is not going to be an option for this week. On more exciting news, the Festival of the Arts is about to kick off. We are just days away, so that's January 16th that's going to be starting off. We obviously have the Broadway show. If you do want to see who is doing the Broadway show this year, I did a report on that back in November when I was live in the studios. I'll put a link here if you want to go back and check those performances. But that's going to be opening, along with obviously the food booths are going to be there. So Festival of the Arts kicking off real soon. So let's go over to the West Coast and talk about Disneyland. So the first two are no surprise. This is going to be Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World. And these are obviously converting back from the Christmas holiday version back into our standard version of those attractions. Now they are making sure not to overlap these. So from January 12th to the 22nd, they're doing the Haunted Mansion update. So by the 23rd, it should be reopened with the standard view. And then It's a Small World is going to go down on January 26th, and they'll be taking a few weeks to get all of those decorations down. So at least they're kind of offsetting these so that you don't have too much downtime overlapping each other. Now we did warn earlier that this one was coming, so as we make more progress on Avengers Campus, they had to close down that walkway between Avengers Campus and Cars Land, so there is large construction machinery there for the moment, so that's going to be closed down for the foreseeable future, but at least we have a big in theory, e-ticket attraction coming down the pike. Speaking of e-ticket attractions, there is one going down for refurbishment, and this is going to be a big impact if you're planning your trip to Disneyland, and this is Rise of the Resistance. So they're saying it's going to be an extended refurbishment. It's starting on January 20th, so that will be closed. They don't have a reopening date at this point. So the thought here is that they're going to be doing updates, kind of fixing the Kylo Ren animatronic, which goes down fairly frequently, and then the moving cannons, which has been off in Disney World basically since it opened. But that is such a cool thing if you got to experience when those cannons were moving. A really immersive, next level experience. So hopefully they can get that back up and running, and then I would love to see them bring these repairs over to Walt Disney World so that we can get that functionality back. Because I would say on my last trip, I don't think I saw Kylo Ren in A mode even once. Occasionally even B mode had no audio. There was all sorts of things going on. It is a very complex attraction. There are a lot of moving parts here, so I think it needs that love and attention, even if that means an extended downtime at the immediate future. Now it's time to talk Disney discounts. So we're going to start with Walt Disney World, and we're going to talk about the Florida resident Disney Discovery ticket. And this is a 4-day ticket, and it's $64 a day. So this is a great deal for the Florida residents, and this is trying to get people in over the winter, early spring. So this is January 12th to May 16th. Now the one you've probably heard of, and if not, it is the one you want to take note of. The summer deal this year is buy 4 days, get 2 free. And we're not just talking hotels, we're not just talking your park tickets, this is both. So if you have a 4-day, 4-night stay at a hotel plus your 4-day park ticket, you are getting 2 additional days of park ticket and hotel stay at that price. So this is a huge savings. This is good for any days between May 26th and September 15th. Now the thing to note here is you have to book by February 15th. So we have a pretty small window here. You're looking at about a month from when this video comes out to be able to book that discount, but that is huge. And then on top of that, you can start adding on the other perks that they have going at the moment. So one of those being the free Disney dining for kids. Now keep in mind, if you are looking for the free Disney dining, it does require that every adult in that hotel room is going to be getting a dining package. So this is a great deal if you were already planning on doing a Disney dining package. If not, it may not be worth it for you to get that add-on if you depending on how many adults you have in that room. Certainly if you're looking at, say, 3 adults, 1 child, it's probably not worth your while. If you're talking, 2 adults, 2 children, then it's probably worthwhile to get that additional promotion. And then on top of that, you can still stack the water park entry on your day of arrival. So if you fly in early in the day and you don't have a park ticket yet, make sure you make use of that, drop your stuff off over at the hotel, and then get your free entry to either Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach so that you can have that additional perk. So you can actually stack all 3 of these options on top of each other. There's some crazy deals going on right now if you want to get to the parks this summer. Now let's hop over back to the West Coast and talk about some of the Disneyland perks that have come out. So the first one is a hotel discount. If you are staying at the Disneyland Hotel or the Grand Californian for 3 or more days, you can get up to 25% off of your hotel stay. So that's a nice perk there. It does apply to the Disneyland Hotel Villas as well. And this perk is good through May 21st. And then as soon as that ends, you get a new deal for kids tickets. So this is kids aged 3 through 9, and this is a $50 ticket. So this is a crazy discount on the entrance fee, and this does include a park hopper. So to have a $50 park hopper for your kids is a crazy ticket deal. So this is good from May 22nd to September 7th, and then obviously you have to have an adult with a park hopper ticket to take advantage of this as well. Now keep this in mind if you are taking advantage of that hotel discount, that they have changed things a little bit here. You won't get that early magic entry, but instead you are going to get a Lightning Lane multi-use pass for the day. Now let's talk Disney cruises. Now we haven't talked a lot about the Disney cruises in this show in the past, but we are going to start digging more into this going forward. But there are some discounts here as well. So for Canadians or Florida residents, there's up to 35% off of Bahamas cruises, and this is for the first half of the year. So that's a pretty sizable discount for those two groups of people. The other one is half off deposit. Now this one's going by quickly, so you have to book by January 18th. So you've only got a couple days left, but it is a half off of your deposit for your Disney cruise. And then if you are a Disney Visa member, on top of that, you can also get the half off the deposit along with 0% 6-month financing for your cruise. So this is a really good way to kind of spread out that fee, do a payment plan for your Disney vacation and plan for your future. Now let's talk about AI in Disney. Obviously AI is a big hot topic. It's getting bigger by the day. So it's good to see Disney kind of jumping on the bandwagon here and not fighting the progress. So there's two levels here, the first one being for Disney employees. So they are giving them access to ChatGPT. They're doing this company-wide, everyone from customer support all the way up to, say, engineering, Imagineers. So they will all have access to use this AI resource to help them with their day-to-day tasks and improve productivity across the board. So that's great news for Disney employees. Going external to the company, they have done a $1 billion equity partnership with OpenAI. So this isn't just a licensing deal where Disney has paid to license out their characters. This is a full-on partnership. They see this going somewhere. So it's great to see them investing in this. It's also a little bit surprising considering they've been kind of fighting with Google on the fact that AI is using their characters without licensing fees so far. So it seems like this is for them to get ahead of these licensing problems. Rather than fighting it, what they're doing is creating their own platform where you'll be able to go on and create your own short videos with over 200 Disney licensed characters available to you. So not only are they talking about doing their own vertical media streaming, so like a TikTok or an Instagram for this type of platform, but then they are even going to take some of these created contents and showcase them on Disney+. So this is going to give everyday people the opportunity to make their own creations and potentially even have them featured on Disney+. So this is a really cool concept. I'm not sure quite how it's going to play out right now and what that's going to mean for other AIs that are already kind of stepping on these toes, but hopefully they can find a way to balance this together and create a platform that is engaging for Disney fans where they can bring some of their creativity to life. So the last thing I want to talk about is just the Doomsday teaser trailers that have been dropping. So this is the big culmination. This is the first time we're bringing in all of the new characters that we've been bringing into the Marvel Universe since Avengers Endgame into one giant movie again. So this is really exciting, and the way that they've done this I think is really interesting. So rather than having a teaser trailer that tries to put in every character that they're looking at, it's just impossible to give them the screen time. If you're thinking a 30-second trailer, when you have 20 some odd characters, there's no way of communicating anything effectively in that moment. So what they've done instead is they've broken it up into different trailers catered to specific groupings. So you may have seen there's one specifically for Wakanda, and then the Fantastic Four are together in that teaser trailer. And the one that's really getting a lot of buzz is the one with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen coming back to the X-Men universe and coming into Doomsday. So really excited to see the X-Men, the classic X-Men series that I grew up with, coming into this larger universe and coming together to culminate here. Also, we got to hear Robert Downey Jr.'s voice as Dr. Doom, so that is really exciting as well. I think this is what will bring me back into Marvel. I've kind of lost interest over a little while. There's a few, shows or movies that I've missed. I'm still picking out the ones that I like the best, but I think this will draw me back in. This is the moment where I will go catch up on what I missed, so that when Doomsday comes out in theaters in December, that I have my backstory and I am ready to go. So that's all of our news updates for this week. Thank you so much for joining me again and for being patient with the hiatus over the Christmas break. Hopefully you enjoyed some of those vlogs that I took in November when I was at the parks. There'll be a few more of those coming out. I'll kind of mix them in with the news when there's slower weeks, and we will see you next time.